Hi everyone, Lynn here. How's everybody tonight? I have no chat. Oh, this is going to be interesting, guys. Okay, well, I guess I'm going to make this up as I go along. If you do have any questions, Cindy's got my phone number, so she can text me if there's anything in particular. Yeah, can't really chat with you guys. I'm sorry. uh, let's see if I can try again. I hope you can hear me just fine. Yep. No chat, guys. Sorry. So if you do have any important questions, I'm sure somebody will text me for that. So before we get started, I guess I'll give you a few announcements. And since I don't trust myself to remember everything, I got it on paper. As you know, this month, the month of November is always the month that Flying Unicorn gives back. And this year our charity of choice is Cure Search for Children's Cancer. It's a great charity. So we have quite a few things going on where you can help us and help Cure Search reap the benefits of Flying Unicorn giving back. So one of the things that we're doing is that we are doing 1,000 uploads. We're looking for you to upload a completed project to our gallery, and for each and every one of them that is uploaded, Flying Unicorn will donate $1 to a maximum of $1,000, and I think that's awesome. And I'm sure that someone can give you the numbers. I haven't had a chance to check and see where we're at right now. Also, we have from November 13th through the 16th, we have silent auctions going on. There's going to be some crafty supplies, paper crafting supplies at discounted prices. And we're also going to have some one-of-a-kind items for you guys to bid on. We're also going to have some special challenges. Actually, we do have a couple challenges going on right now. One of them is a sketch challenge, and the other one, hang on a second. Sorry, guys. I had the TV on, totally forgot about it. Okay, so back to the challenges. We do have 2 challenges in the forums right now, in the Give Back forum. And the one is the sketch challenge that is hosted by Shona and Alda, and the other one is a holiday challenge that I'm hosting. And also, obviously, for every project that is entered into the challenge, then we will make a donation as well to Cure Search. We also have raffles going on. Right now, there is a Tim Holtz Vagabond up for raffle. So for a $5 donation, you get a ticket entered into the draw. So that's what's going on this week. And then also as well, one of the things that you can do is to donate directly $5, $10, whatever you feel that you can afford to help out with Cure Search, and that's a very worthwhile charity. So yeah, that's it. And I still have no chat, so guys, I'm just going to get started. All right, so hang on a second while I turn you upside down. All right, I hope it's kind of crooked, but not too bad. All right, so this is what we're making tonight. This is a holiday stocking. You can use it obviously as a stocking, or you can use it as a home decor piece. And we're going to start off with the base, which is the stocking itself. Now, I did come up with a couple different ideas for you. One of them is, if you don't sew, you can't sew, you don't want to sew, you can always purchase a canvas stocking. I haven't seen them in my Michaels, but I'm sure that some of the Michaels do have them, or the, I'm just going to stick it over here so I can see. Joann's, possibly, maybe even Hobby Lobby. And if not, then I know that Canvas Core does make some. Now, that's the one option. Let me go back to it. Let me bring it back. This is done with gesso on canvas fabric. And I'll show you, I just lost my train of thought. All right, so if you purchase a canvas stocking, then you can just go right into whatever we're doing without having to worry about doing any sewing. So what I'm going to do is I'm also going to show you another option, and this was actually my prototype. And let me move this one out of the way. This one here is made with the Prima Resist canvas. So that's another possibility for you, okay? So I'm going to put this aside and we'll get started. So I did make my own stockings, and it is canvas. It's not a very heavyweight canvas. Let me get my little drop cloth here because I know how I am with stuff, and I'm going to make a mess everywhere. Okay, I did sew it. I did put a cuff on it, but I didn't sew the side because you really won't see it very much. And I fought with the sewing machine with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lift up the cuff because we don't need to do any gessoing on there. And I have a Prima stencil. This is an older stencil. It is, I believe, called Damask. And I'm just going to try and center it so I make sure that I am hitting the bottom of the stocking. All right, and let me get my plate and the gesso. And tonight I'm using Liquitex gesso. I usually use, well, I'll use whatever I can find. I happen to like the Liquitex. It's kind of liquidy, and that's okay. Now, very important, you don't want to paint this on, so you either want to use a foam brush or a spouncer, which, by the way, Alda, I'm so glad that you put these in one of the kits that we got because I love this thing. But tonight we're going to use a sponge. And the reason I'm using the sponge is because I'm going to cover a lot more ground faster. So this is just your ordinary kitchen sponge, okay? So I'm just going to dip it into the gesso. And I don't want too much because it is liquid. All right, so, and you do, like I said, want to pounce it on. You don't want to brush it on because the gesso will actually get everywhere underneath the stencil. And you really do want to push it into that fabric. And you'll notice that I'm not worried about the other side of it. I didn't put a plastic bag or a piece of cardboard or anything in there, and I'll show you why. This is a piece that I tested a long time ago, and aside from a few little spots where I handled it, there's no gesso that went through. And there goes my phone, and I'm going to be freaking because all right, so let's just continue on. So you definitely want to push the gesso in there, and don't worry about how light a coat. You actually want a heavier coat on your stocking. Now, if you do decide to make your own stocking with the canvas fabric, one of the things that I would recommend is that you do this part, just cut out a rectangle a little bit bigger than the size of the stocking that you're going to do, and do the stenciling first. It's actually easier. That way you can actually, if you're off a little bit on your stenciling, you can move your pattern around. And for patterns, I gotta tell you, one of the best places to get them is on the children's coloring book pages. Just Google children's coloring books, or Google children's stockings, images, templates, that kind of stuff. You'll find some of the better ones. They're generally less fussy, so it's a lot easier to make a template from it. Now, I can't tell you which one I used because I actually looked at a couple different ones. By the time I had printed out the template, I decided that it wasn't big enough. And you can see that I'm really pushing that gesso in there. And I'm even going to go back. I see some spots that I've missed. Now you want to do this on both sides. I would suggest that you let it dry in between before you do the other side. Alternatively, if you're doing the sewing yourself, you can go ahead and you could do them both at the same time if you do it in two separate pieces. Just make sure that when you do put your pattern on it, that you have your fabric either back to back or face to face, because otherwise you're going to wind up with the same problem I had with the first one that I started working on. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. You can see I really pushed it in there. Alright, let me move that out of the way and wipe my hands a little bit. And there's the gesso. And the reason that, sorry, I had to put my stencil away. The reason that I really like the gesso instead of using maybe a gel medium or embossing powder, which I haven't tried that. I'd like to try that at some point in time, is because it stays white, and the gesso seems to, when you put on your sprays, it seems to hold on to the glimmer a little bit better. So you'd want to let this dry, and really, even though it's on fabric, it's not going to take a long time to dry. Once it's dry, go ahead and flip it over and do the other side. Okay, now I'm going to take this away because I have one ready. And I'm just going to wipe down, if I can find my baby wipes. Just wipe this down a little bit. Just so I don't get gesso on the other one. Okay. So once you're done and you've got it dried on both sides, this is what you end up with. And I did do, sorry, I did do the hanger part as well, because I did it before I sewed my stocking together. In this particular one here, again, because I've already sewn it together, I did put a plastic bag in there so I could go ahead and spray. And I'm going to be using a couple different colors tonight. I've got Glory of the Seas Gold. I've got a bit of Bubbly from, this is Lindy's, and Glory of the Seas Gold. And I also have the Shimmer's Treasured Hymn. I love this color. This is so gorgeous. Alright, so let's move these, and I'm going to start with the lightest one, which is the Bit of Bubbly. And I'm going to do this, pull up my cuff, but I'm not worried about getting it on there. I want it on there. Okay, so then I'm just going to start spraying. And I'm going to flip it over. And I'm also going to do the top. I'm almost out of this color. Alright, so now let's add the Glory of the Seas Gold. And I'm just going to add a little bit of this because this one's a little bit brighter. And again, I'm not really worried about where the spray is going. I just want to get it on there. Okay. And now for the Treasured Hymn. So just make sure you cover your stocking. That's really the only thing that's important here. So in effect, what you've done with the gesso is you've created your own resist canvas. Okay, so now I'm just going to take some more baby wipes. Actually, I'm going to take my brand new cloth here and just wipe the excess off of there because there's a lot. And it will make a mess because you're spraying it everywhere. You want to let it set in just a little bit. And then go ahead and take you out a bunch of baby wipes because you're going to need them. What you want to do is you want to wipe that spray off of the gesso. I should mention that if you do use the resist canvas, you're not going to be able to get a very large size stocking out of it unless you get 2 sheets of it. Or if you don't mind that your pattern might be upside down on the other one. Let me show you. This is one of the sheets here, and you can see from the size of my stocking, you would have to flip it around this way to get it. And of course you wouldn't have the cuff, but that's okay because you're not going to see the cuff very much. Okay, let's flip it over and do the other side. And I didn't get this here very well. So we'll start at the bottom. I don't know if how well this would work on a lighter fabric. I know that I've done this quite a few times on the canvas fabric. I really love the effect that it gives. So see how white your gesso comes out? And even though it is white, you're still going to get the shimmer from the sprays on there. One more spot. So that's it. That's pretty easy, right, for the technique. And look, I mean, look how nice that is. And of course, if you have a bunch of stencils, you can do any design that you want, really. All right, now, word of warning, this takes a while to dry. It takes way longer to dry than we have the time to wait for it, even with trying to dry it with a heat gun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this one aside, and we're going to move on to the next step. And I actually have another one ready for us. Okay, so let me put it away. And I'm going to remove this out of the way. Okay. Oh, my glue gun was going everywhere there. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do, here's the dried piece. Okay, so I'm going to put it aside, and then we're going to move on and finish off with the rest of the stuff that we need to spray. Now, I was going to give you guys a choice. You'll notice in the original, I use the, these are Manor House flowers. They're called vinettes. And I have them in both the chestnut, which is this color here, and this color here, which is the jade. But since I don't have a chat, I can't very well ask you guys. Unless while I'm spraying, if you guys do have a chat, maybe Cindy can let me know which color you prefer. So, jade or chestnut. And meanwhile, we'll move on to leaves. Alright, so the next step that we're going to do is I have here the Prima Leaves dies. And I've already cut this because, once again, you don't want to sit there and watch me cut these. I use this particular leaf here. These are gorgeous. I love these. These are like my favorites ever. Alright, and I cut them out of watercolor paper. Now, I know that you're supposed to remove all the inside bits. I happen to like them with a little bit of the inside bits still in there. So I'm just going to, just with my finger, just flick out. Whatever comes out real easy is what's going to come out. I knew you'd want jade. I even planned for it with the sprays. Okay, so yeah, I kind of like having a little bit of the bits inside of it. I just think it looks a little bit more like a skeleton leaf. So that's how I do it. Not everybody does it that way. So since we're going with jade, I'm going to change it up a little bit. Uh-oh. Sorry, guys. Oh, now I just got another one that says stick with the original. All right, well, I guess we're going with the original. All right, going back to a bit of bubbly. Okay, so we're just going to spray, and I hope I have enough. Did you know that with the Lindy sprays, I guess this would work with most of your sprays, the nozzle goes all the way down to the bottom. Okay, if you're running really low, just turn the top here facing exactly where that nozzle is, and that'll help you get a whole lot more spray out. Okay, so I'm just spraying here and there. I'm going to let that sit for a second and see what else I'm being told. Yeah, I gathered that. And then the next color I'm going to use is the Color Bloom. And this is Worn Leather. This is just gorgeous. It's a bit darker color, but I really, really like it. So we're not going to spray on too much of it. So let me move this aside. Just a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to put it aside and let it dry by itself. And actually, I think I might even add a bit more of the bit of bubbly, just to bring the colors back together. Okay, hope you can see that clearly. Let me set that aside. Now we have, oh, I hear rain. Okay, moving this. We're going to move on to the next wet media that we need to do, which is the Creative Embellishments, the little board. Christmas Signs is what it's called. And you get 2 in a pack. And I use the Merry Christmas. and the other one says North Pole. Both of them are cute. I'm gonna stick with Merry Christmas, and we're gonna gesso that. So I'm just gonna bring back my little plate of gesso. With the paper towel mess I just threw on top of it. And we're gonna do this first. And I wasn't really overly careful about how I did it. I just slapped some of it on. And you know, gesso dries pretty fast. So we're just going to let that dry. Just like that. And while that's drying, we're going to go ahead and mix up what we're putting on top of that. Which is some, it doesn't matter which brand or even what color that you use, but this is what I used, is the Burnt Umber Liquitex Basics. And you need just a teeny little amount. That's too much right there. And I'm going to mix it with regular gel medium. This is semi-gloss. Now, if you guys got the Mix Start kit from October, this was in your kit. And that's the reason why I chose to use this as opposed to glazing liquid. Okay, so I'm just going to pull out a little tiny bit of it because we don't need much. And we're going to add a little bit of water, just thin it out. And we're just going to mix that. And honestly, it actually mixes better with a brush. Oops. And the reason that I actually really like this this mix with the gel medium is that you kind of get a two-toned effect. I don't know, I'm not exactly sure how to explain it to you, but you'll see it once it's dry. Alright, so let me go ahead and just slap this on. And again, I'm not being very careful. I'm just slapping it on there. I will do the edges though, as best as I can. And that's it for that. Easy, right? So you want to set that aside to dry, or you can heat set it. We might be done in less than an hour, Alda. Alright, let me wipe this mess off. Okay. So going back to the stocking, and let me put this away because I'm going to get brown paint all over my stocking. I didn't like how wide this ended up being, so what I did is I took some of the paper cord, and I don't know why I keep wanting to call it paper twine, but it's paper cord. Whoops, that's a little piece I cut off. And I just cut, oh, a little more than twice the length. And I do have my glue gun, so I'm going to move my phone out of the way. I was trying to find a way to do this without actually using the glue gun, but I don't think it's possible right now. So I'm going to go inside on the back and just glue the end in. Because I know how I am when it comes to the glue guns. And I'm just gluing it right on the edge of the hanger. And then I'm just going to wrap this around. Hope you can see that. And I'll show you as soon as I've got it. And then again, I'm just going to glue that part inside. Alternatively, you could use ribbon. You could do the same thing with the ribbon. Okay. So now, I'll just kind of fluff it out. So you can still see it, but it's a little bit smaller. And it just adds a little bit more detail to the piece. Okay. That's that. Believe it or not, we're actually just about ready to get embellishing. So let me get the lace. You know Alda carries some gorgeous laces. And I have a few different ones here. I'm going to start with the biggest one. Venice laces. This one here is beaded. And it is just so gorgeous. It's almost a sin for me to put it underneath as my underlayer. Almost. Alright. So I'm going to start on this side. And probably cut this off here. And because I have nowhere for my mouse to sit, or my pointer thing to sit, my computer keeps wanting to go into sleep mode. Alright, so I'm just going to spot glue it because we're going to be gluing more on top of that. And I am starting on the back side. And like I said, you won't see a lot of it, but I kind of like the look of having more than one lace layered. And I think I'm just going to wrap this one here around. I don't want to cut it. I like that little piece there. Just in case you're wondering, I'm using Fabri-Tac. I like both this one and the 3-in-1. I'm just going to wrap this. Okay, so we're done with the first lace. And you're still going to see all of this here because we're going to be going up higher and higher as we're putting on the rest of our laces. So the next one that I used, and I have to look, I think it was the big one, is this one here. This is another Venice lace, and it is just, where's the end? Just stunning, stunning lace. I don't know where you find all this stuff, Alda, but it is absolutely gorgeous. I love it. Alright, so we're going to glue this one about, right about here. So you can still see the sequins right in here. Okay, so for this one here, I can just glue. I'm only gluing on the edge. I do want it to be somewhat loose. Okay. And trying to keep the glue from being all over my hands here. Okay, now we can cut. I'm not left-handed, by the way. I just can't hold scissors in my right hand. I don't know why. It's the only thing I do with my left hand. Silly fact about me. Okay, and the last piece that we're going to use is, again, another Venice lace. And I know that you're not getting the detail of this lace on camera. It is so gorgeous. Wow. I can't even describe what I'm looking at, but I know you're not seeing all the details. All right, so this one's going to go up at the top, right around here. And you can see that my edges, and actually I'm going to go this way, my edges aren't finished. I did finish, well, the base of the stocking itself is, I used pinking shears to cut it, but the rest of it, I left it loose because I like quirky stuff, so I kind of like the rustic with the elegant. But that's me. If you don't like that, you can do it differently than that. All right, one more time. Okay. Okay, so there we go. I hope you can catch all that. It just makes it look so elegant, even though it does have the raggedy edges, and I did pull some threads on the cuff itself. I love that look. All right, let's move that out of the way. Now I've got a couple other things. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take out some tulle. And this is white tulle. I think it's called tulle ribbon. It's, all right, where am I here? 1.5 inches wide. And I've got a knot in there. Yeah, it's about 1.5 inches wide. Okay, and I'm just going to grab what I think I'm going to need. Probably a little bit more than that. And cut it. All I want to do is make a bow. And I don't make really pretty bows like Robbie does. Her bows are spectacular. I don't. My bows usually don't look that nice. Not enough. So I'm just going to tie it into a bow. That's all I'm going to do. And you'll notice that I didn't cut the end where I had it folded. And we'll fluff it up once we get it on the stocking. I'm just going to cut my angles. Okay. So basically we're going to just get this ready, and then we'll start with the flowers. Okay, I'm not going to fight with the tool. All right. These are Manor House flowers. I think I mentioned that already. These are the vignettes, and it is the color chestnut, so that's what we're going to go with. And I am using both of them. And while I'm trying to place that, I also need my frames. I'm using one of the frames. This is the Shabby Chic Treasures, and I'm going to use the big one. So I need that for placement. Alright, so what I'm looking to do is basically to layer like this at somewhat of an angle. Okay, I will cut some of those ends off. I'm just right now just trying to get placement for the frame. Okay, which I'm thinking is going to go about like that. Now if you wanted to, you could put a picture in there, and that would be awesome. If you made one like for each of your children or grandchildren or whatever, you could put their picture on it. So because this is resin and it's going on fabric, I am going to add a touch of hot glue just to get it to stick real quick for me so it doesn't move too much. Okay. Alright. Okay, so now we're going to start playing with the flowers. And I'm just going to fluff them up and pull them open a little bit. And I like to just scrunch my leaves. And just push one back and push the bottom part back and the top part forward. And then we'll fix that. Once we start gluing, we'll fix the flowers. Place them a little bit better. Got 2 leaves here. Okay, so this is going to go like that, so I need to cut some of that. And I know I can do it with the Tim Holtz scissors, but I'm just going to use my pliers because it's faster. So again, you're going at an angle. You want to cover some of the frame. Okay, and then we need some more flowers because we got to have more flowers. These are the Prima, oh wow, I forgot what they're called. And it's not written on the back of it. But they're gorgeous, and I did use, get this out of the way, I did use them in here. I have one back here, which is kind of a peachy color. And then I have another one down here, which has more pinky tones in it. Okay. So, because I've already used those, I'm going to go with the bigger of the lighter colors in this particular one. It'll come to me what it's called. Alright, so I'm just going to mush them just to fluff them up a little bit. And again, I haven't started gluing yet because I just want to get placement. Okay, can y'all see that? That's looking pretty good right there. But I have one more I need to place first before I glue. And that is these Prima Vellum flowers. Let me take them out of the package for you. I really like these. They're really pretty. And I have a larger one and a smaller one. And what we're going to do is we're going to layer them. Now, in order to do that, I'm going to take this pearl center off of this one and hope I don't rip it completely apart. I'm being very careful because the vellum is... Okay. So all I'm going to do is just add a foam square. Normally I would probably use chipboard or cardboard. Flying unicorn boxes are awesome. I have a stash. Okay. And again, just fluff them up a little bit. I don't want to wrinkle them too much, but I do want to fluff them up a little bit. So all I'm looking for here before I start gluing is just where I'm going to place this flower. And that's probably about right there. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this one down. So we'll put a little bit of hot glue and some Fabri-Tac on it, just because I know the Fabri-Tac will hold it permanently, but the hot glue will hold it for now. Okay, and that is about right there. Push it down and try not to burn myself. And I just realized that I missed a step on the lace, so I'll show you that too. Okay, and we can just go ahead and glue down these flowers because we'll be done with that part. And this one. Okay, before we glue this one down, what did I do with the lace? I need a piece of this lace here. This is the beaded one. And all I did was just cut around it. And these are probably not the best scissors in the world for me to be cutting this with. And all I'm going to do is glue it down here. Okay? And what actually reminded me of that was taking the pearl center off, because that is that pearl, the large pearl center that we took off is going right here. Right here. And I'm going to color that. I'm going to use, you can use an alcohol ink, you can use Copic markers, Sharpies, whatever you like. I'm going to pull out my, if I can find it because I forgot to take it out, my Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Big Brush Pen. This is Nougat. I'm going to color it with that. So I'm just going to go over top of it and really not being too careful about how I do it, because I'm probably actually going to put my finger on top of it and remove some of the color after I've let it dry for a little bit. Okay, that's all you need. Okay, so let me put that aside to dry. Alright, back to the tool. And I'm trying to find the end. There it is. Just trying to fluff it up a little bit. Alright. Again, I'm going to use a little bit of the Fabri-Tac and the hot glue just to hold it in place for me. Just got it all over. Be careful with hot glue on tool. It will burn through it. And I'm just going to smack it right in the middle. Right there. Okay. Stay. And I'm just going to let it flop wherever it wants to. And fluff as we go. And we do have some more fluffing to do, but that can wait. Alright, the next step we're going to do, and I need a larger piece of foam. And I probably don't have one, so we'll just go ahead and stick with the little ones if I can find where I put them. There they are. Okay, I do want to lift up this flower, so I'll just Just a little bit. And that might be about right. The only reason I didn't want to use the cardboard is because I didn't want to see it peeking through just in case. And you just want to put that right over top. And now you can start playing with fluffing your flowers. I kind of like them going in different directions. I am going to lift this one to face up a little bit more. And the same thing with this one here. Let me move the glue out of the way. And pull up the leaves a little bit. I really love these little berries and crystals that are on these stems. They're really pretty. And they come in quite a few different colors. I know there's pinks and blues. I'm trying to think of the other colors that I saw. Alright. I'm mushing this flower right now. Okay. So that's that. The next step is more flowers. Again, these are Prima flowers. And on this particular one, I used this one here. And let's see here. I think this one here came from this pack, if I'm not mistaken, because it's not in this one. But we'll go with the peach one. It's pretty close to the same color. Okay, so let me pull those out. We just need a couple of them. Alright, and I want that one there, and I kind of want this one right here. So again, Fabri-Tac and hot glue. And that's only so it will hold fast for me. Normally, I probably would use just the Fabri-Tac and let it sit to dry. And that one's going to go right on top here. Right on top of the big one. I think I put my these here a little too close together. But that's okay. We're going to make it work anyways. Alright, next, leaves. Let's see how we're doing on the leaves. Oh, we're pretty good. They're actually dry. I only sprayed one side. You could spray both sides. Alright, I actually only need 3 of these, and if you choose to go the way that I'm going, with leaving some of the bits and pieces in there, you'll find as soon as you start scrunching them up, bits and pieces will fall. Alright, and I just scrunched it together. Let me just show you that again. I just scrunch. That's it. That's all I do. And let me get this one here and scrunch. I will cut these bits off here because we don't need that. Okay, and we're going to take one of these and Fabri-Tac again. And I'm just going to place that one right in here, right in behind the vine. And then this one, we're going to place right in here. And I know it kind of hides the one flower, but that's okay. It just gives us that much more dimension and layering. And then this one here, going to go right underneath here. I'm actually gluing it right to the frame. Okay, you can see that. All right, but we're not done. We have more. Let me get some of this out of here. Okay, I want to show you one of the newest dies that I just got from the store. This is Cottage Cuts Winter Pine Branch. It's a gorgeous die. I do have that one pre-cut as well, and just so you can really see it, that's cut out of the watercolor paper. It is so fine and so delicate. Just gorgeous. Again, I love this die, and I'm going to use it all over the place. Now you could, obviously you could spray these if you wanted to, add a little bit more glimmer. I didn't, but that's up to you. So we're going to go ahead and put that one there, and I'm going to go right up at the top underneath, if I can get in there, right underneath that flower at the bottom with this one. Okay, and another one. I kind of went in threes with the leaves. Have this one here underneath this flower. And one more. And this one is going to go right underneath the big Prima leaf. Okay, let me move that out of the way. And now for our center, and it's a little bit tacky, and that's okay. We're going to go ahead and glue that. I just got to wipe off the schmutz that gets on the top of the bottle. And I'm just going to glue that right in there. Hope you can see that. And you can see where I put the leaves. Okay, I do have a few questions. Why did I use watercolor paper? Because I wanted white, and the cardstock that I had was too thin. It's just the cheap stuff that I buy like at Walmart. I wanted something a little bit thicker. I didn't have any white, thick, normal cardstock. This here, these leaves that are cut from the Cottage Cuts, is green cardstock. So I just wanted these to have a little bit more heft to them, I guess, so that they would hold their shape once I scrunch them. That's why I use the watercolor paper. You don't have to use that. You can use cardstock. Alright, so let's get back to our sign. So you can see how in some of the spots where I don't have gesso, or as much gesso, that the color is a lot lighter, and I just think it looks more natural that way. And that's one of the reasons why I like using the gel medium on top. And this is dry already. So we're going to go ahead and put that in place too. Okay, and this is going to go, so let me turn this so you can see it while I'm doing it. And this is where I have to be careful because I burnt myself the last time I did this. And I just tucked it underneath that last leaf, and I kind of put it at an angle. I just want to push it down without smushing my flowers. And again, it's just one more layer. I do have another leaf. I might use it. Let's go ahead and use it. Why not? We have it. Let's use it, right? Just going to tuck that one in. Let me see if I can pull that one off a little bit. Just underneath the peach flower, and now I better glue that back down. And that's it, you guys. That's it. That's how easy it was to do that. Did you guys like the gesso technique on the canvas? Do you have any questions? Because I'm done. This is it. So wouldn't that be beautiful hanging on your fireplace? Or you could stuff it like I did the my prototype and add a few little boxes in there and hang it. You wouldn't have to use it as a stocking. You could use it as decor, just a piece of home decor. So what do you think? Do you like it? I'm going to wait a little bit and see if you have any questions. Cindy can text me. And meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead and flip you right side up so you can see my face again. That was fun. It was nerve-wracking, just a little bit, but it was fun. I really enjoyed it, and I'm really thankful to you guys for coming out tonight to see me make this little project for you. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you'll try doing this gesso technique, the resist technique. I think you'll really enjoy it, and you'll probably find all kinds of uses for it. I actually, you can see, I'm just going to lift the camera up a little bit. I have double doors right there that goes into my living room. I want to put curtains on this side. I want to try and do something with this technique on those curtains. So unless you guys have any questions for me, I'm going to say goodnight. Oh, hang on. They want to know if you'll mail talking to them. Okay, I'm not following. They want to know if you'll mail talking to them. I'm sorry, Cindy, I'm not catching it. Oh, if I will mail it? If that's what you're asking, yes. Absolutely. Is that what you're saying? Mail the stocking, yes. Yes, yes, absolutely. You have your choice. You can have this one that I made tonight, whoops, well, which you can't see, or you can have the original, which has a little bit darker colors in it. So, your choice. Since I can't see the chat, I have no idea who is doing the picking, and at any rate, you guys pick, and you deal with it with Alda, and yes, I will mail it out. So just let me know which one you want, the one I made tonight or the one that was already made. Okay? So thank you again for coming by to watch the show. I really appreciate it. And next week, Delana will be live again on Wednesday at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So that's it. Good night, guys. Thank you so much.